Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays Riven. So, after the end of the last episode, I thought that I had 3 or maybe 4 of these animal symbols figured out. And I decided to go to the universal hint system and just get confirmation. Just figure out if I was right, wrong, what the solution actually was. And I did get that. But the way that the universal hint system dealt with this particular puzzle is it didn't tell you all the steps to figuring it out yourself. It tells you, look for the shapes around the eyes. This one doesn't have a shape for you to look at. You just gotta listen for the sound. This is the animal that makes that sound. Things like that. Not all the pieces were revealed to you there. So I decided to work backwards from those solutions and say, okay, how are you supposed to really get all this information within the game? Because there's got to be more to it. And sure enough, I was able to find a good amount of stuff that makes it clear. And if I did miss anything there, please let me know. Like, for example, this fish. I could not find a real living fish in the game. I might have overlooked it, or it may only have appeared at certain points. like with the beetle, which I was having some real trouble with. And it is apparently this one. Does make sense. We can see the two legs towards the back. The eye was what was throwing me off. It being so low down here. And the segmenting, I was comparing this to the shape in the water, which I should not have been doing, because there was a real beetle to find that provided more information. See, I was thinking of it like this because the eye is in here, full round body, and I was thinking of this as like the drainage for the water. So, you might have been wondering why I was going with this instead of the other one, but we got that all figured out. This, I now better understand. This looks very little like the shape that was carved out in the rock there, but it does make more sense once you can find the Utrum, or Etrum, the fantasy frog. And then we are looking for this guy. And finally, right here. That should be it. I've done something wrong. Oh, because I'm looking at my wrong person notes. That would be why. I have these backwards. But yeah, the universal hint system, it doesn't tell you anything about how to hear the noise out of that animal that matches up with the noise that the eye makes. I found that out myself by accident. That's just kind of how that all came about. Here we go. I figured I kind of gave up, and I kind of just found the answer, got it handed to me, and I just didn't feel good about that. So I wanted to put something together that showed some effort in the proper way to solve this puzzle. So all that stuff that you saw at the beginning there, that was blind. That was me figuring that out myself, just working backwards from the answers. And, you know, I just thought it might be a nice way to start this video off, and something kind of chill, a little more informative, and just kind of show the process. Hey! Okay. Sorry about that. Just to show the process of, hey, this is me doing this stuff. I don't want to cheat you out of me getting that experience. So I just tried to figure out a way to, like I said, work backwards from the answer to provide that whole problem-solving process there. We know what this is. This is the thing from the cover of the game box. And this is a damaged book. This looks like it might be a piece of stone or wood or something. It's a makeshift linking book that was put together as best they could from what Gen had available here. I'm not going to jump into that right now. I'm just going to do a quick save. If it's anything like Myst, we may not easily return from here. Just let this play out and take a look at things. That is a creepy visual. It's a tree, but instead of leaves, it's got just like this big, weird, almost looks like an insect nest. I know it's not. I hope it's not. And the lights, almost like lights in a window, like this is a community or something in here. It's a striking visual and a little just unnerving. Very fitting for this game, kind of having a slightly different tone with everything. We haven't been going to a bunch of different ages with different identities. We've stuck in Riven this whole time. We know Gen that we should be concerned about him, that he's not a good guy. We might be getting closer to him. Okay. Seems like nowhere's to go. Oh, wait. Hey, oh. That was unexpected. Hold, please. Okay, let's not have that happen just yet. I don't think there's a fail state in this game. So far there hasn't been. There wasn't in Myst. I don't think failure is really something to factor in here. But we didn't go... Oh. Okay, well now we know. We can't actually go forward. We do go this way. And then this happens. Okay. I just wanted to check that. Hope that's alright with you. Oh, they're bringing me there anyway. I mean, I was trying to walk there, but it wouldn't let me. So this all works out. Okay. Anytime. Yay! Okay, we woke up. I think we're inside the tree that was down there where the book was. This is one of those little holes in the thing. That's either for drinking and or doing our business. There we go. Hello. Guys got things inside of the thing. It's almost like a cocoon with cocoons inside of it. You know, like caterpillars, butterflies. Ah. See you over there. Okay, I've got control again. So, obviously we're imprisoned. Something's happening. Hello. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh. Okay, I understood none of that, but I think I understand what you gave me. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. I suppose story time is... we should do story time. What's happening now, though? Got ourselves another... more?
Now, Katerine, we see for Polo, ya sepe yai.
This is our way back. Okay. So, I just want to see... Alright. Let us... go... Actually, what we'll do is I'll read this stuff here. And this is... oh... I think that's done. Yeah, it's Dunny. Okay. We might save again before we start playing with all the books. But story time on top of that intro. I'm sorry. Let us begin our reading, everybody. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang and... I can't read that. Violent clang and something, and bars appeared. Okay. Just like how we entered Riven. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult. Maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese, though he was wearing dunny dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. Okay, like hundreds of people whispering. Period. Right there. I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end. And now... to be here with Etty? Maybe. E-T-I. Maybe. It's been so many years, I didn't realize how much I missed her. Like a piece of me that I had forgotten I'd lost. She's beautiful and so full of warmth, but the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I do not wish she were more I do wish she were more interested. It seems... Okay, so we have to go through this quickly. I write quickly from my prison. Nilak will return your book, which the Moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then, I assume, we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I am released. Catherine. Okay. Now we've taken care of that. This is a book from Catherine. This is the same writing as that. I'm pretty sure. And so we were delivered a note and our linking book. So that's why it links back to Dunny, and that's why it looks kind of faded. Because that's supposed to be our way to maybe signal him. And then he creates some way for us to leave proper. I think. Anyway. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. I really wish they didn't have all this cursive writing like this. It's very hard to read these things. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They are a gentle people, but they had their... they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now, I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them and this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given this second chance, but a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? Drawing little doodles? The moiety Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped Gen on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gen at the fissure, where I linked back to Mist, and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. That's the beginning of Mist. That's the intro that we see there. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won. That Gen was no god at all, but only a feeble impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped Gen of the power. Therefore, Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit, from a Rivene's womb? Okay, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity and would lord over Riven forever. Thus, the Moiety, as they call themselves, okay, so it's a people, were born. A dissident society, sworn enemies of Gen. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Etty was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it at a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion, which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which had given them courage to band together and rebel against Gen. Okay. Since then, sorry, I was trying to decipher. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to free them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gen. Others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I think that's exactly what Atris is trying to do, a little bit of both, because Riven is falling apart. He can't hold it together. They're trying to get the people out of here. So, I guess in a way that will be a prophecy that's got to be fulfilled. And if it's not, well, they'll all be dead, so it's not like anybody can do anything about it. Be like, oh, we were wrong. Well, it's too late for that. You're dead. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it, crossed out, myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the Moiety's numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complex network of I don't think I'm bad at reading, but, I mean, come on. Of caves? A complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. The Moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationships with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they're not sacrificed. But I hope they've not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and someone are still on the surface in Gen's domains. And I long to see them. But, dimness shrouds Eddie's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes during their short forays to the island's surface and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the moiety unless they are properly attired. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. So in Riven, we have the Rivenese who side with or tolerate Gen. And then we have the other Rivenese who have separated and call themselves the moiety, and they live in caves in the island. Okay. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortuitously rescued me from one of Gen's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. So she didn't get captured by Gen. She's just been hiding with the resistance, I guess. But the way he wrote things, it seemed like he did capture her. So this could have been before that, or I don't know. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, I am now aware that I was fooled. Atris is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful he would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is a guest. There is a quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant that wants him far away. I have just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. They have become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words will fall cold beneath will fall cold breath. The womb from which they cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. Okay, you just threw a poem in there out of nowhere. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then together we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past weeks in the dank cave. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from our hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of a thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me, as if waiting my command. But could not respond. In fact, I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which was once one island, has split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about a half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen as his exclusive domain. Only his ministers and personal militia are ever allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are riddled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The moiety rarely visit these closely guarded places. I kind of miss the way the books were handled in the first game, where I could choose to read them at points. I mean, I didn't have to read this right now or read the other ones when they came up, but I don't know, everything just feels longer here. It's like, it's unexpected. That's, I think, what is bothering me. It's like, oh, here's a book now. Maybe I should read it now. And they go on for a long time. And she wrote like this. That's really weird, Catherine. There is another island which I could not see, as it had evidently crept away to a terrific distance. The moiety are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it is where the great tree used to exist. Is the great tree what we were just brought to? Through the book? And through... Okay, it used to exist there. and it got moved to a book somehow. The forest is located on the island that the surface dwellers and the Moieti still refer to as Riven, but they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It is also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be seen everywhere. Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the island. The Moieti do not. Gen wrote this place, and it will die, as all of Gen's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave on a dying world inhabited by people that... You stopped yourself there. They are treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface. How I walked across the island, bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Etty was uncomfortable around me. At times there is no awkwardness, but I am only... At times there is no awkwardness, and I am only... Catran? To her? Is that... Her name is Catherine. That could be an altering of her Rivenese name, which is Catran. Catherine. Okay. But at other times, I am something else. I am afraid. There's such a... I can't. There's such a numbness inside me. Today, I do not feel closeness with my people. Neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gen. I don't feel anything. I'm not even sure of... At least Nella is still close, or that something. The name came up before. Neva. I am boiling. I am blank. Gen is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen. Of course, Gen would have written all of the materials necessary to the dunny craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He is attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his mechanics. All laboring in his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his noble dunny cause. Okay, so those images that we were seeing from those beetles in that chamber, the pictures that were in the beetle-shaped mechanisms, those were people worshipping Gen. That was their their imagery of Gen and what they're doing and their purpose and everything. Okay, so that's good. All comes together. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, though they do not understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. I owe this to them. There is no choice. It's been a long time since my last entry. It is hard to recognize, but I have found the star fissure. It is located on the island which the Rivenese call Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the Moieti as Alatwam? Alatwam, meaning pool of stars. It's on the island that they call water pool. I'm going to write this down. I also saw that we appear to have some code coming up in the future there. So, water pool fissure. My first assumption would be that fifth island that we have yet to access. It's also possible that that book took us to the fifth island. Because it did have the tree that that island used to have. I don't quite know how all that would make sense, but we wrote it down. Could also be Workshop Island, because that's a big crater with a lake in it. And maybe Map Island, because it has those weird, like, images, like the image device thing for each island. Those were like water pools. Okay, anyway. Having once allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with a skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport. Okay, we know exactly where that is. The combination to which was acquired by the Moieti before my arrival. Stop. Okay. So I'm just going to update this that says where this place is, so I don't go back to my notes and misinterpret them. We are going back to our counting. That's 11221. In the early days, the Moieti, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Ultimately, however, they decided against opening it. I'm going to just make a more note of that as well. A stop. And I'm just rechecking. That's a 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I've instructed them to stay away from it. I'm almost certain that, with the decayed state of the islands, opening the fissure now would be disastrous. I have heard that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement... You've got to be... This is so much. Just give me a second here, okay? Please. Please. Okay, we're gonna power through it. It's another 20 pages of this. We're gonna have another supersized episode here. I have not done anything just yet in this video here. And we're like at almost 50 minutes. In the disastrous... Okay. I have heard that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of migrating the star of... of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the mist book fall from Atris's hands into that very same space. To this end, he would have people, alleged transgressors of the law, thrown into it so that he could observe their fate. The telescope, which still stands there, is one he had built for these callous experiments. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Gen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissures is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atris explained it after he had fallen into it. But much more than that we've never understood, and we were never able to conclude upon its origins. But the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atris's words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book, this is from the first game, that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse. There must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier. The unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during the escape from Riven, the very design that stands vertically at one end of the Alatrum, the island, this island, has been adopted by the Moieti as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It is the representation of all of their doctrine and their representation of me. To deface this symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical explanation regarding its sudden origins. I haven't told them that I wrote it into this age along with all the other daggers. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I have tried to dissuade them of the notion that symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this paranoia against them. They are fearful of Gen's symbol and are terrorized by his symbolic use of the Wark? WAHRK? Okay. But they don't want to hear this from me. Perhaps my attempts have even caused some of the younger members of the Moiety to doubt that I am Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gen have been discouraging. I have hoped to have some communication with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gen. Soon after we trapped Gen on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, it is told that this was a punitive act performed by Gen to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered unto a new and better existence. I will continue to try to reach them. The door is open, and Gen is free. Gen has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written one age before I arrived, but he has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware until now. I'm not sure, perhaps he has written others. Other news. A few years ago, before the Moiety were forced into hiding, one of them managed to steal what happened to be a test book that Gen had intended to destroy. It had been partially written, but did not work. They didn't tell me about it until now because they thought it was useless. Back then, none of Gen's books worked, but instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes to heal his book's inherent flaws. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he has made modifications to the domes which make it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to lure us into using the books in the domes. He can't believe that we would blindly swallow this suicidal bait, but he wouldn't know that we would have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. there is a possibility of is crossed out. Have red burnt book. Age it describes would be unsuitable as new home for the Mayeti. Must be modified. I will dream. Have requested a group to solve combination that will open the domes. I'm gonna sneeze. Once open, we can power the burnt book. I do not think Gen will interfere. He will leave the bait. Have begun writing the Mayeti's age. Now must acquire a second book from Gen. I think I understand. The place that we currently are, it wasn't that the great tree was displaced. It's not the location of the fifth island. It's a new age that Catherine has put together, altering one of Gen's failed books. So she wrote a great tree into it that serves as a home for the Mayeti. I think that's how I understand it. Okay. So now they're trying to get a second book from Gen. There is tension. A strain blurs my vision and nightmares. Nella and Etty stay close. Much has happened. Oh, has it? Most everything is prepared. We have stolen another book, but I'm concerned Gen will miss it. We have also discovered the combinations for entering the domes, but we have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering one burnt book with Gen's domes, we will be able to link to this age, but we will only have access to the domes for a short of time before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway imager in Gen's books and our burnt book all seem to share the same sickness if they are not powered. The images are black. It might be possible to clear the vision with only... don't know. Now we are... We'll write substance into the Mayeti age. Okay. So there might be a way to make the book function without power, using something that you've now written into the Mayeti age, which we are currently in. And you're got some sort of diagrams that I'm supposed to understand, maybe. All is ready. Now all we can do is wait for word from the Moyeshian-esque? Moyeshir, they make this so hard. Who are on the lookout for Gen to power and use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to one of Gen's domes just long enough. We have powered the domes now. That's what the whole marble puzzle was. Okay. After linking to the age which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance and refine or adapt it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. This will allow me to use the second stolen book and return to Riven with more of the book windows. We will Okay. So they got one book, and they use it in the dome to power the book to come here, where we currently are. And then they use the other book in that age, create the window to make that work without a power source. And that's how you get back. And then they got that book and they hid it away behind that animal symbol puzzle. So we're all caught up there. We'll then no longer have to rely on Gen's clumsy domes. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atris. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great wound, is opened. It stains the Riven soil with blood. I hold the moiety knife. The voices grow so loud. For their part, the moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy, but they are also fearful and tense. I don't know what they will think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it's all still a dream. We've already evacuated all of the moiety to this new age. It is beautiful, and I am pleased. At last my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under the bare sky, unafraid and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. Okay, so we are in Tay right now. There's still much to be done. We are not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard this place is to destroy the book which links to here from Riven. But I do not even know how to bring this up to the moiety. They will be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I would be cutting off my only connection. But for their sake, it must be done. I am anxious to know if our activities have aroused Gen's suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I feel that now we are impregnable. Tomorrow, I will return to Riven to see Gen's reaction for myself. But tonight, I finally rest. Thank God, lady. This is the episode. This is the reading episode, everybody, okay? We got here, we got knocked out, we got put in a prison, and we were given a book. They gave us information, and we read it. We read all of it. So much reading has now been done. And we'll just call that the episode and get a nice fresh episode going where we can then go back to Riven and utilize the information we have just obtained to do more things. Okay? I feel like if I were to make this a supersized episode, it would have to be like 2 hours for me to really do anything, get anywhere of significance. So I might as well just cut this episode and do another one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the reading episode. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to count each of these as a page, each turn. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49 pages-ish, sort of, the way I'm counting it. That's so much. My water glass is empty. I need to go take something from my throat, maybe some warm tea and honey, maybe a cough drop, I don't know. So much reading. I love you. I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.